Welcome to the College of Wealth podcast, the ultimate financial guide to help you understand your financial stresses and how you can build from it. Your lessons won't be in class, and your projects can either save you or earn you money. We host episodes 2 times a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays to help you reach your financial freedom. Now let's get started with your hosts, Owen, Paradis, and William Goulet.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Owen Paradis. I'm here with my co-host, William Goulet, and we're proud to present to you the College of Wealth podcast.
Podcast.
I love the enthusiasm.
I sort of started going away slowly from the echo portion. I'm sure your echo doesn't sound like that one bit.
No, I hope not anyways. But yeah, I love the enthusiasm, Will. Because that's basically what this podcast is. This is a financial podcast that teaches you the latest and greatest information about money. Because at the end of the day, this is a crazy money-making world.
Crazy, yes. Money-making, I don't know. If you were to put that to our parliament and they debate over it, are we in a money-making world? I think we'd have bipartisan, unilateral consensus that it is a money-making world. So I'm in there.
Everyone agrees on this one here.
I put it to you, Parliament. Are we in a money-making world? Big stamp of approval. Hell yes.
I love it. I love that. It's really good way to say it, Will. But because we don't go and say this is a financial podcast, we like to go and say that this is for entertainment purposes only. We do like to go and bring up
to say that it is for entertainment purposes only. We do like to say it. It's true.
Yeah.
However, I think it doesn't capture everything that we offer.
Yeah.
So I totally agree. We offer the entertainment part, but we also deliver such great information, layered, multiple segments and different arguments for each segment. So why not market that as well? So here's what I'm thinking. We could do something like it's for informational and entertainment purposes only.
All right. Yeah. I like that.
Or better yet, we could always say that we do infotainment. I think that might be a little bit more catchy.
You're just full of surprises today. I love it.
Aren't I? Look at that.
I love it. You just keep outdoing yourself with this here.
There's bound to be a cap somewhere.
But we haven't seen that cap yet here. So without further ado, I need to go and also say that, yes, we'd like to go and call it infotainment here at the College of Wealth podcast, because both Will nor myself are financial advisors. We are not financial advisors by any means here.
Certainly not me anyway. So
Me either.
Yeah. True.
But we like to go and say this, though, but we also have work in the business industry. Both have a bachelor's degree in business as well. I just kind of say we're passionate about this kind of stuff. We're interested in money making and stuff, but we're also mostly important in 2 specific things. And I also like to say, let's say, what are those 2 things that we do like here at the College?
I thought we could do it together.
Oh,
we like to save money.
Okay.
And make money. Right on.
Yeah, it's so good. It is so good. It's cringy,
I like
but good.
Yeah, I agree. But you know what? I'm glad we put it out there. But to say that we've studied in it and all that, it just confirms that our interest is valid, and not in any way in the Gen Z way.
Yes, could not agree more with your previous statement.
Me too.
Now, without jumping into episode 118, our listeners obviously know what the episode topic is, but Will, I'm actually very excited for this one. You're going to like this. I was going to literally message you saying you are going to like this episode.
Oh, really? Okay.
I look
forward to it.
But for this, without further ado, if you haven't done so, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. That would really, really be appreciated. Helps us with the algorithm. We don't get the algorithm at all. It basically gives it ice cream. It gets happy, and it throws us a little bit higher on you. Or if you haven't done so...
I was going to say, I used to say that's me on Spotify on my preferred way to listen, but there's a new platform now that I prefer to listen. and it's on
Which is that?
YouTube. We're on YouTube now, right? And we're adding
agree.
a little bit more effects. We're improving the podcast constantly.
Yep.
So I think that's my preferred viewing for the full podcast, personally.
Good way to sell it. I like it. And if you want to go and keep tabs of the College of Wealth podcast, make sure to follow us on Instagram as well at College of Wealth Podcast.
Yeah.
So
honestly.
greatly appreciated. Good content there. Good content everywhere.
Right on.
Now with that said, we need to jump into our 118th episode, and this episode, Will, is how to say no on lending money.
On lending money.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I look forward to it.
And so the way I have it is don't rely on others for finance and how to say no to lending money.
Okay. Right on.
You seem a little perplexed there.
Well, I look forward to hearing more about it because I know that saying no is a big problem in society in general. So if you're able to get no on your side, it's a way to go. And which actually, it sort of brings me to the quote of the day, which
You're
as
just
you
going to jump
remember
right in here.
Absolutely. Well, it pertains very well to what we're talking about. If you'll remember, this week we're talking about Abraham Lincoln and his quotes.
Yep.
And he says, I will prepare, and someday my chance will come. And that's what we're doing through this episode. We're learning how to use no in different situations, just like how we push the negotiation power. It's building up that ability and that competence so that when you do have to use it and the opportunity presents itself, you're able to do it. Same thing with going to the gym. You'll never need to lift that 100-pound boulder, right? But if you go to the gym and you prepare every day, same thing that we're doing here by listening, you'll strengthen those muscles, and then you'll be able to when you really, really have to.
I like it. It ties in with a quote, and I forget. I have to bring it up, and I forget who said it. I have to look this up. But basically, the quote goes, "If it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than not to have an opportunity than not be prepared."
Yeah, true. And by listening to the College of Wealth podcast, by developing yourself further, that's what you're doing, is you're preparing yourself more and more for when these opportunities come up.
Yeah. Now, the way we have this broken down is obviously our stats. Obviously,
Statman, of course.
And then we have our 4 sections that are going to go, and I could talk about them right away. Questions to ask yourself if you are in financial dependency. So this is on the one side, and the 3 other sides are on the other. And the other side is understand how you fit within this problem for when someone is asking you for money. Mm-hmm. The best times to say no for asking for money when someone asks you for money. Yeah. And how to lend money the correct way.
True. This would be great for someone who's won the lottery, too.
Yeah.
This is a dream episode, too.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Yeah. Now, our first stat, I'd like for you, Will, to get... There's a flabbergasting stat in this one, by the way.
Right on.
What percentage of Americans have admitted to taking out a loan?
Oh, I'd say most. Probably 90% have taken out a loan.
You need to realize also that there's a lot of older generation people who bought cash with everything too.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm saying 51.3%.
Really?
And also, you're also taking into account that there's a younger generation that's not eligible for taking out loans as well.
Yeah, that's still very surprising. You'd imagine that more people would have taken a loan somehow, somewhere.
Well, here's the interesting thing. 18.82 for the number one reason why people take out loans is to fund a move.
Yeah, okay.
Which is kind of not really surprising. And also, the next biggest thing why people take out loans is to cover gifts. 18.23% do take out a loan for gifts.
Whoa, that's high.
I was very, very surprised with this.
That's that ho ho oh no that hangover.
Yeah, our second stat. This has to do with delinquency rate. So delinquency rate is anyone who doesn't pay after 60 days. 60 days or more, there's no payment. Mm-hmm. What's the delinquency rate for the first quarter of 2022?
I hope it's low. 15% maybe.
Well, at least you didn't go. My girlfriend guessed 63% at first.
Oh my!
Thankfully, she redacted that and said something a lot lower. Her second guess was a lot lower. So I'll give you a chance to give a second guess. It is not 15%.
Is it lower?
Yes, it's lower.
Oh, great. 6.5%.
3.25%.
Oh my God. Okay, so people are on track still.
Well,
on the first quarter of 2022.
Hold up.
Okay.
2021's delinquency rate was 2.68%.
Okay. Yeah. So a bit of an increase. Well, decrease. It depends how you're looking, but
Well,
year over year there was an increase.
There was an increase.
Yeah.
Enough, honestly. If it goes up that much, that's like a significant increase, honestly. But again, it's still small.
Yeah, I wouldn't sound the alarm for that.
No
When it comes
no
out,
alarm.
I'd say, "Whoa, look at that." I'd be mildly alarmed.
Our third stat, though, is a flabbergasting one.
Okay.
What percentage of borrowers take out a personal loan to consolidate debt or refinance credit cards?
Well, that's a good move to consolidate debt and refinance credit cards, so long as you don't use it so you can keep abusing more and more debt.
Correct. Yes.
So I'm gonna say, but it seems like it's probably rare that people do it. 15%.
Try 57.6%.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So lots of people are. Man, I would never imagine that many people are getting reached out to and convinced to do it.
Well,
that's crazy.
Sometimes people use it as a way to enable their debt in general.
Yeah. Okay.
So I mean, to consolidate and to refinance and to better your payment plan is always great, but don't use it to your benefit and don't abuse it to take on more debt.
Right. Yeah, because as soon as you do that, then you get yourself on that path of, rinse repeat. Let's call it.
And last but not least, our last stat, and this one's just a general stat here. How much does America owe in total debt and personal loan debt? This is in the billions, by the way. Just going to give you a hint here.
Okay. So 300 million Americans. I'm going to say at least 1,000 each. So let's go. No, 2,000 each. Let's go $687 billion.
$178 billion.
Oh, wow. I guess, yeah, there's
It's
a difference between
personal
personal loan. Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
and
true.
mortgages and stuff like that.
Oh, so mortgages are counted in that.
No, they're not.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay, so that's what? That's 500 per person? That makes sense. Mm-hmm. That's not so bad. Again, mildly alarmed.
So now that we have the stats covered, we got to ask some important questions here. Mm-hmm. We have 4 questions that we talk about here, and this is the Cathar Financial Group that asked these questions. I can't take credit for this. Mm-hmm. Also, I need to go and give a shout out to Lending Tree for the stats that I got prior to this, just for reference, that I don't steal my stats, I don't come up with this. Lending Tree has actually some awesome information for statistics.
You haven't surveyed Americans on their... No, you're right. Lending Tree, right on.
Now, for these questions here, this is to ask if you are in a position, of financial dependency. Now, this is not in a position, not like as if you're with a partner or some sort and you are cohabiting and you guys are both working or anything like that. That's different. Mm-hmm. But in this case scenario, like our first question, does a large portion of your monthly income come from money you did nothing for?
Okay.
So in this case scenario, this is the biggest question. You have money that's coming in that you did nothing for it, and it's just given to you.
So an inheritance might be the
that
case.
Could be an inheritance. It could be a
lottery winnings.
Or it could be something that I feel bad. Not that you didn't deserve, but just something that you did nothing for, and you just a windfall.
The average person couldn't expect to have this.
Correct. Exactly. What do they call that? I forget the term.
Windfall sounds right.
Yeah, but the the term when people retire, they pass away, and they pass it down to their kids. Something
Inheritance.
babies. Something babies.
Oh, I've never heard of that term. No.
No, I forget the first term, but anyways, in this
Lucky
case,
babies.
yeah, yeah. But needless to say, that would be a big question to ask. Is that money coming from out of nowhere, or not really? You're not doing anything for it.
Or
The
did you
second
scale up your business to this point of,
Well, at that point,
success?
at this point, you worked for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Our second question in regards to it is to determine if you are in a financial dependency. Is are you faced with time? Whenever you're faced with times of financial crisis, do you automatically go and ask for money?
Okay, yeah. But
And
so how many times have you done it before? And well,
yes, like your automatic
first,
reaction.
yeah,
Like for myself, when I am in a financial crunch, or I'm not gonna say in a bad position, but I have less money in the bank, I automatically go into my accounts, and I literally do an audit on my bank account. All right, what can I sell and everything, just to make myself more comfortable. That's how
yeah,
I am.
yeah,
Before
yeah.
I don't ask for money. It's just my instinct.
True, true. You're already willing to sacrifice your lifestyle, which says a lot about what kind of person you are financially.
Yeah.
It's not always knock at someone's door and say, "Hey,
No.
I'm a little short this month. Could you help me out?"
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing just how different people will react to those situations. I don't really get into those situations nowadays. When I was a teenager, might have been a different story because I'm not making a lot of money. If
Yeah,
I
yeah. Sure.
was, but just the reality of it all, or being in college, that's a whole other situation. But everyone reacts to financial crisis, like a financial crisis, differently.
Hmm.
Our third question is: do you also often receive money from others with little to no strings attached?
Okay.
I
Yeah.
I
Fair
literally
enough.
sound I literally sound, when I'm saying that, I literally sound like either donations or an OnlyFans.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
It's the no
I
strings attached part, Owen.
it's a no strings attached. My head's in the gutter here, but I had to go and throw that one in here.
Yeah,
But
no doubt.
but it if you have no contingent not contingency but conditions to it or anything like that, and it's just given to you, and you don't have anything, you don't have to do anything for it, then you don't have to then that may be a reason for you that you might have a financial dependency.
Right. Yeah, makes sense.
And last but not least, this is actually a huge side effect to getting money for no reason whatsoever, is your lack of motivation. Do you tend to have a lack of motivation when it comes to receiving money or getting money?
True. Yeah, because if you are given everything with no strings attached, immediately why go out there? Why try to earn money? Why do all these things? So yeah, I think you're right.
That's it. So a lot of people aren't necessarily, well, I'm not saying a lot of people, but some people end up facing with those situations, and they may not realize that they have a financial dependency. You see that a lot with students who end up moving out of the house and going to college. They think they got their life figured out there. Mom and dad have no clue what the heck they're doing here. And then after 3 months of being in college, they go and ask mom and dad, how do you live?
Yeah, as soon as they start seeing some bills add up, it's whoa. No,
Yeah.
I know people who they've had their rent covered, they've had their schooling covered, they've had
Yeah.
their phone plans covered, and it's a perfect concept of dependency, because as soon as you start bringing them bills and stuff like that for whatever shared expenses, all of a sudden
Yes.
it's a surprise, and
For sure.
oh, hold on, let me go contact the boss here, or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's always funny.
Now, these are just certain points, certain questions you should ask if you feel like, just to realize it, think that you are in financial dependency. Now, to our listeners, if you're not, I think most of them are not on financial dependency, but if you are, I mean, I guess you figured it out here. You may or may not have heard that.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
First step is admitting it.
Yeah, it's true. Our next three things we have is to understand how, like we said, understand how you fit within the problem. And this is if you've been asked for money.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Understand how you fit within the problem, the best times to say no, and how to lend money the correct way. So this is going to be the other side of things when you are being asked for money.
So this episode might actually be good for parents as well.
Yes.
Who have their children who might be coming back. Children's obvious default. They'll be asking for money on a monthly basis, or more and more frequently, or like we said, millionaires, or just friends that are succeeding well and that everyone goes to them, and maybe sometimes they're the nice guys.
FYI, if you know how to manage your money and people know that you manage your money well, it's only a matter of time before people or someone reaches out to you to ask for money. I'm just giving an FYI. There's going to be that one friend, that one relative, or however you say, that's going to ask for money.
It's happened to me. It's happened
to me.
I'd much rather offer advice personally.
Yes. Well, we're going to be talking about different ways to tackle this, actually.
Right on. And
our first thing to do when understanding how you fit within this problem is, how exactly, like when I'm saying this segment, how you fit inside this problem, how exactly did you end up in this position where your friend is asking you for money? Mm-hmm. And the first thing is if you continuously give money to other people or just to this person. If you're giving them money, you're enabling them, FYI.
So true.
You become the default plan for them to go, hey, I know that this person can give money to me.
Yeah. Well, think of it as a pigeon. You give a pigeon a piece of bread, and he'll say, great, this is my new guy now. I'm coming back here. That's why they say don't feed the bears.
Yes, that's exactly what the pigeon says in the exact voice there. Great, this guy's going to be able to give...
All I want to say is they say don't feed the bears for a reason, because they always come back for seconds.
Exactly. So if you're gonna, but we're not in this case, if you're continuously giving someone money, they are going to come back if you're enabling them. But this is only if you're continuously. If someone does approach you and it's their first time, read the situation. Did they just move? Did they just do a big purchase? Did they just lose their job? Is this like a bad position that they're in? Yeah. Is their amount unreasonable or anything like that? Just read the situation. It's a huge. You got to evaluate everything that they go and say.
You'll see that maybe someone might ask for money and they'll say, and they just bought this brand new car. And that should be a red flag. It's like, hey, hold on here. Maybe let's get our priorities straight before we try to trade my bank account.
But you're totally right with that. There, you got to look at like when you're reading the situation, look at their financial situation. Did you take them as a financially savvy person? Were they good with their money? If they're asking for money, it's their first time. Well, that's a different point there. You can go and give them the money, but just because you know that it's going to reduce the situation, like the risk is going to be lower versus someone that you know that's been asked or who asked many times, they may increase those odds of not giving you the money back.
Yeah, true. Because how nervous are you? Let's say you have to go ask money from someone today, Owen. How nervous are you?
I honestly, I wouldn't even be nervous. I'd be ashamed. That's just how I'm not saying that people should feel ashamed to ask for money. I'm saying I would feel myself. I'm just saying because I would just feel like I have a lack of financial. That's just how I am. So I'd be very nervous. I'd be very nervous in that case.
Yeah, hey, let's say like negative emotion, right? Whether it be
a negative emotion,
shame, something like that. So you'd have lots of it. Now, what if it happens, 5 times a year? On that 5th time, it won't be so bad because it's like, well, I've done the worst part, which is starting it.
True.
and then you just keep on that path. So yeah, honestly, you nailed it.
Yeah, and if you are the lender, also evaluate the friend that you have. How long have you been friends? Is this someone that you're just newly friends with? Do they look like they have a good character or a bad character? Those are and then of course the last thing you got to evaluate is your own character. If you have lent out the money many times, just know maybe you have an issue saying no, and they may be taking advantage of you.
You know, I talk about Gen Z. I'd like to break it down in terms for Gen Z to understand, and maybe even millennials.
Okay.
The person who you would be lending to, is he what kind of person is he? Is he a scumbag Steve? If that's the case, careful consideration. How about yourself? Are you a good guy, Greg? Make sure you're not being taken advantage of.
I like that. Your examples today are so good.
Thank you. I like it.
Spot on. So good. But you are perfectly right in those regards. That just realize the character of the person you're handing the money, that may be handling the money, and your situation. And again, I still feel bad for saying I feel ashamed for asking for, friends about lending money. I'm just saying
you're entitled. Like, just be honest. I think is the right thing.
Embarrassed is probably the better term for me. Embarrassed.
Okay, yeah.
Embarrassed is probably the better term to say. Shame just seems strong.
No, but I mean, some people would be ashamed, you know. So I think it's good that if that's the word that you thought of, fine. And now that you have a more accurate word, that's fine too. You know, share how it is. Some people they might not feel that or might not know how to identify it. So
true.
I think it helps with you saying it for real.
Well, thank you, Will.
Yeah, no, right on.
Moving into our third segment here. Now that we have analyzed the situation itself, and things don't look too well, there are some things that you should be looking out, some red flags. Yeah. And if those red flags are showing up, these are the best times you should go and say no. Mm-hmm. And the first thing, and it's the most obvious thing, does not matter how much they're asking, whether it be $5, $500, $5,000. If you are in a cash crunch yourself, take care of yourself first.
Yes, no doubt. You know, let's just say in the airplane, if you see the mask drop, even if you have a child that you love very much, they still recommend that you put your own mask on before taking care of the child next to you. You know, same thing with money.
It's definitely true. And for our second point, though, while you're evaluating this person or this situation, you need to foresee the character that they're bringing when asking for money. And how do they react to saying no? If they get mad at you or they start manipulating you or guilting you for not giving money, that is a huge red flag.
Yeah, no doubt.
The best way, and I was looking at online, the best way to address a situation like that is to not answer someone for a while, whether it be a few hours or a day or something like that.
Yeah.
And let it be. If they start getting aggressive or anything like that, just messaging you more aggressively, calling you or something like that, then that's a huge red flag. But on the flip side, they may just find someone else or they may just figure it out the situation on their own.
Unless, of course, if it's an emergency.
Yes,
there's an emergency factor to consider as well, right? So
yeah,
if it is an emergency saying, hey, I'm just shy $500, but it's a big deal, I'm going to be able to close on this real estate deal, they're like, okay, yeah, I'll help you out with that. You know,
yeah, exactly. In that scenario, it would make perfect sense. It's like, all right, well, again, character is a huge thing. If they have a clean track record or you have a good friendship with this person, no problem. But if they get all aggressive and everything, then I might not be too apt to go and lend you the money.
Yeah, if you're lending it for emotional reasons or because of friendships on the line, it's not worth that much. Of course, some variability is there for if it's a child-parent relationship.
Yep.
Right? I'm not saying, well, that's not really your child then. It's not a good child.
It's not a good child. But in reality, though, the funding means actually is a third thing to take a look at here.
Yeah.
And for this, what exactly are you helping? Are you helping them pay for groceries? Are you paying for rent, helping them pay for utilities? Or are you doing on the other side where they're trying to pull a quick one on you, which you may, they're not going to go and say, hey, I'm trying to, do you have $50 or $100? I'm trying to pull a quick one on Will here.
Yeah. They don't tell you that anymore, man. It's not like the good old days.
But no, when I'm saying this here is you may be indirectly funding an addiction too.
Oh, true.
Or just someone who's careless.
True. Yeah. And asking for cash only. Like if someone ever says, I need something for food, I'll give you a perfect example. My brother, he was out west, and there was someone who was homeless and was saying, I need money for food, please. Yes. So my brother felt poorly, and he's like, he felt bad for the guy. He said, all right, you know what? How about you and me? Let's go to McDonald's. I'll buy you a meal, whatever you want.
Amazing.
It's on me. The guy said, oh, just give me the money. I'll take care of it. I don't want to waste your time. And so my brother says, well, look, I'm going in there right now. We can even maybe sit down and enjoy the meal together. And they're just like, well, if you don't want to help me, then leave. What nerve this guy had, man. So it played to the emotional.
On what podium did your brother think he was standing on?
Yeah. How dare he? Help me my way.
Yeah.
But
in the literal sense, beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah. Except he tried to be both, but yeah, you're right. And what is it for? What are you helping with? And this other red flag was the emotion base. You're not going to help me the way that I want it. Then never mind, And you see that all the time.
Yes, I actually saw exactly that. And I mean, this is just, again, we're not trying to bash homeless people here, but we were in Toronto, my dad and I, and we went to Pickle Barrel. My dad actually bought an entire meal for a homeless person.
Nice.
So like Pickle Barrel is not like a cheap restaurant or anything like that, but he wanted a nice hot meal, and we got the waitress to go and get a doggy bag and everything.
Yeah.
And we saw a lady on the road, and we asked her if she wanted food. Like, here's a nice hot meal from the Pickle Barrel, and she said, "Yeah, I'm interested in it, but do you have money?" "No, we don't have money." And then she's like, well, then are you seriously just going to give me the food? And then my dad's like, well, in that case, we're not giving you the food.
Yeah.
And let's just say some very profane words came out of her mouth towards my dad.
I thought you were going to say your dad had some really profane
words.
No,
my dad did not say anything bad to the lady, but she says she had some colorful words.
Well, he's better than me.
But needless to say, in these case scenarios, if you get to the scenario like that where your friends are, you may be funding an addiction or something like that, maybe recommending professional help is what they need.
True. Yeah. And professional help, it could be of various, there's different types, right? Sometimes it truly is something as easy as financial planning,
Yes.
Help
we
that.
We talk about that actually in our
Hear that?
Yeah,
that's a thunderstorm going on. I had an Amber Alert that showed up earlier for that. Let me shut my window. Okay, you were saying, Owen.
We're going to be talking about that in our final segment here.
Okay, great.
Our fourth point, or our final point to this third segment, is the best times to go and say no is to evaluate your friendship here. If they're continuously looking to go and get funding from you or money from you, try and define that point where it's no longer friendship or you become their bank account.
Oh, true.
And they're abusing your quote unquote friendship for their well-being.
And that's even best practice to do this on the first time around. Even if the first time around you don't think it is abusive, or like that they're taking advantage of you, set the ground rules. Say,
Yes.
okay, well, if this were to happen another 2-3 times, if they were to start bringing emotion into it, if they were to start bringing timelines or anger or whatever, then do it from while you still have a level head.
Well, a lot of people online will also say that if you are planning on giving money, don't give it easily. Ask them for a reason why. Make it difficult for them. And I'm not saying this just to be mean, but you sound like the stingy person or something like that. But this is a way for them to maybe second guess a second time if they want to go and take money. It's like the cash money places.
Yeah,
they're happy to give you, but then all the paperwork involved, and you're like, ugh. You may not want to go and see them a second time.
Well, if there was someone let's say you were to ask me for money, well, I would probably have a little bit more trust. But let's say someone who I know a little bit less than you, but in a similar position as you, and you ask for money, I'd say, okay, well, what's valuable to them? I would consider asking for collateral. You ask me for $2,000, I'd say, hey, you know what? Maybe I can get your PC in the meantime. Yeah, you're going to get this to me in 3 days? Sure. Yeah, no problem, man.
Yep.
Whatever terms it is, I think it's fair to ask for collateral. And, a pair of shoes might not be enough, but something that they like, and I don't
maybe
think it's
work
unreasonable.
towards. All right, that's interesting. It kind of ties in with our fourth segment.
It's It's not any less unreasonable than asking your friend for $2,000.
Yes,
that's the way that I see it.
I agree 100% with what you're saying. But our first point here on how to correctly lend money is to have a clear agreement, and if you can, have it in writing.
Yes.
And
it doesn't need to be a formal legal paper.
No,
it can literally be
as dumb as it sounds, you could literally take an agreement. You could take a screenshot from your Snapchat conversation if you want to. They literally get the notification that you took a screenshot of it.
Sure.
And you have proof right there that you have written agreement on this.
Yeah, and it can help prevent them from trying to not stay true to it because you have a screenshot of it. And it is. Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know if it is admissible in court. I imagine it is, but I've seen it on Judge Judy, and she likes to see the texts.
She does. She does like to see the text. I agree. I've watched some Judge Judy as well.
She's great, man.
But she's awesome. But our second point to this here, you said it. And this is not a bad situation, but there's nothing wrong with giving financial advice as well. Or take a second to go and help them out with their finances.
Yeah.
Of course, you got to end every single sentence with, well, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice.
Yeah. Or don't record your conversation and then you're good to go.
No, but taking a sit down with someone as well. If you're known as someone who's good with finances and you are genuinely comfortable with your finances, there's nothing wrong with helping them out. Like give them a helping hand. Like, hey, why don't we go and balance your books? Like take a look at where the ins and outs are coming in here. Some people may not like that, and that's totally fine. If not, go and check out a financial advisor at that point.
Yeah, and if you truly care about this friend, sometimes helping them towards the right direction, you say, you know what? How about what we could do is if you gather all your papers, and we could take a look at it together, and I bet you we'll be able to shave off $200 off your expenses.
Yes.
That'll cover for this,
Yep.
And you're able to set a target and an expectation for them that they're going to cut $200 worth of stuff.
Yep.
But long term, you're helping them out and likely strengthening your relationship with them.
Exactly. Our third point in regards to this here, if they don't seem to be too keen on giving money back or anything like that, change the funding method from finances to labor.
Oh, true.
You're needing a hand with renovating. Well, hey,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm more than happy to lend you the $500 or give you $500 or something if you give me a hand with the washroom I'm renovating. Or hey, I want a break from my kids. Why don't you come take care of my kids for the next 3 Fridays or something like that? I'll give you $200. Or
And ideally, if you think this person might try to flake on you or something like that, then there's nothing wrong with saying, well, I'll tell you what, we can do some labor per day. And come work with me for these days. And asking questions like, how soon do you need this money? You know, because sometimes the person might be able to help you out. For example, I work in a business where you say, how soon would you need X item?
Yes.
And they'll say, I need it today. I need it today. You ask a little bit more questions. Okay, is it going to be this, that? And then they say, well, really, I only need it for next Monday, but I just want to have it on hand. Okay, you might be able to get to an answer like that with the person who's asking for money.
Yep. It's just asking questions. Sometimes you get a better idea of what they actually what the true intents are.
Yes, exactly.
And last but not least, of course, how to lend money the right way. And this is a most important thing before lending any type of money. We said it before in the previous points. Don't lend any money at all if you don't feel comfortable or if you're not in a financial position of doing so.
Yes.
I see lending money, which I have done, as money that I have lost. And
are you ready to lose it?
Yes, you're ready to lose it. If you're ready to lose $1,000 and you're okay with it, then expect it. Could potentially be gone, because FYI, lending money to friends and family is also the highest rated way to lose money.
Oh, really? Wow.
Oh yes. It is known as the most, because they're relying on friends, the relationship, to get away from it.
Well, and if you're ever having a hard time with how uneasy it is to get money back and ask your friend for that money back, what you can always do is just pretend that you're negotiating for salary, and that will prepare you to have that same level of tact that you need.
We're literally doing the other way around as last time.
I'm glad you caught on. I'm glad you caught on to that.
Our previous episodes were saying treat salary like you're asking money from a friend.
Yeah, exactly.
That's an awesome way to finish episode 118. Don't rely on others for finances and how to say no when people are asking for money.
That was great. Another fun one.
I like it. So my name is Owen Paradis. I'm here with my co-host William Goulet, and we're proud to present to you the College of Wealth podcast. Peace.
2 fingers, peace.
This has been your daily dose of motivation with the College of Wealth podcast. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to leave us a positive review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for listening, and until next episode.